Caught on camera, wild hogs wreak havoc all across Central Florida. The pigs cause big problems for homeowners.
And trappers in Brevard County are getting creative and finding new ways.
Deep inside the swamps of Florida, something scary is hunting the wild boars that have been causing trouble on farms and in forests. Farmers and wildlife experts feel confused because these strong animals are being found dead without clear signs of human hunting. Then, strange moving shapes were recorded on hidden trail cameras. Some people think it might be a natural predator. Others believe something more strange and unknown is happening. And now everyone is asking, what is really hunting the hunters? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. The attackers of wild boars in Florida caught on camera. Over the past few decades, the wild boar problem has grown slowly at first, and then very quickly into something much bigger than many people expected. Today, experts estimate that there are more than 30 million wild boars spread across different parts of the world. In the United States alone, the number is believed to be over 9 million. That is not a small figure. It is a massive and serious population that continues to grow year after year. These animals are not just living quietly in forests. They are spreading into farmland, wetlands, and even areas close to human settlements. The origin of this issue goes back hundreds of years. In the 1500s, during long ocean journeys and migration between continents, humans transported wild boars from Eurasia to North America. They were brought mainly for food and for hunting. At the time, no one imagined that this decision would create a long-term ecological problem. Some of these animals escaped. Others were released intentionally. Over time, they bred with domestic pigs. This crossbreeding created hybrids that were stronger, more adaptable, and more aggressive than either species alone. Without strong natural predators to keep them in check in many of these new environments, wild boars multiplied rapidly. They damage crops, destroy farmland, uproot native plants, and compete with local wildlife. Entire fields of corn or other crops can be wiped out in a short time. But what makes the situation even more difficult is not just their numbers. It is their intelligence and their ability to learn. Wild boars are highly adaptive. When control methods fail, they remember. If a trap does not work properly, or if only part of a group is captured, the remaining animals often become cautious and avoid that trap in the future. This learning ability makes repeated control attempts harder. They adjust their movement patterns. They change feeding areas. They become more alert. Their reproductive ability is another serious concern. Under normal conditions, a female wild boar may produce 4 to 6 piglets in a litter. However, when hunting or trapping pressure increases but fails to reduce the population enough, their reproduction can actually increase. In those situations, litter sizes may grow to 8 to 12 piglets. Young boars mature within just a few months. This means that within a short time, they are ready to reproduce as well. If at least 70% of the population is not removed each year, their numbers can grow at a rate that experts describe as explosive. Instead of stabilizing, the population expands even faster. One major reason control efforts fail is improper trap sizing. Corral traps, which are circular steel enclosures, are widely used. However, size matters greatly. Experts recommend that these traps measure between 9 and 12 meters in diameter and stand about 1.5 meters tall. This size is important because wild boars move in groups called sounders. A sounder can include 15 to 30 animals. If the trap is too small, it may only catch a few. The rest escape. And once they escape, they become harder to capture again. Another common mistake is the use of weak materials. A fully grown wild boar can weigh up to 200 kilograms. When trapped, they panic. They charge fences. They push against gates. They test every weak point. If farmers use thin wire mesh, wooden posts, or plastic materials to save money, the trap may fail. When it fails, the boars learn. A failed trap does not just mean lost effort. It means the animals gain experience. Gate timing also plays a crucial role. Modern systems often use remote-controlled drop gates with cameras. Operators wait until 70 to 90% of the group is fully inside before closing the gate. If they close it too early, only a few animals are captured. If they wait too long, the group may leave. Timing must be precise. Every mistake reduces future success. All these factors together show that controlling wild boars is not simple. It requires planning, patience, proper materials, correct sizing, and accurate timing. Even one small mistake can weaken the entire effort. In parts of Florida, hunters and landowners have started noticing something strange. Wild boars, animals known for their strength and aggression, are turning up dead or badly injured without the usual signs of human hunting. Trail cameras placed deep in swamps and wooded areas have captured unusual nighttime movement, large shadows, glowing eyes, and sudden bursts of speed. Some speculate it could be an increase in native predators like the Florida panther, pushing into new territory. Others wonder if expanding populations of invasive species are fighting back. Or could disease be silently spreading through herds? Whatever it is, something is clearly shifting in Florida's wild landscape. Before we assume a mystery predator is behind the sudden drop in wild boar numbers, could the real answer be far less dramatic? Stay tuned for more. Placement, baiting, and the strategy behind effective trapping. While trap size and materials are critical, placement may be even more important. Experts suggest that up to 60% of trapping success depends on where the trap is positioned. Wild boars are mostly nocturnal. Their peak feeding activity happens between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. During these hours, they leave bedding areas and travel along familiar routes to search for food. Effective trap placement begins with observation. Farmers and wildlife managers look for clear signs of activity. These include visible hoof tracks in soil, rooted or disturbed ground where boars have dug for food, wallowing areas where they roll in mud, and narrow pathways that connect forests to farmland. These travel corridors are especially important. If a trap is placed far from these active zones, even the strongest and best-built structure may remain empty. But placement alone is not enough. The animals must be encouraged to enter the trap willingly. This is where baiting becomes important. Baiting is not simply about throwing food inside a cage, it is a gradual conditioning process. Common bait mixtures include corn combined with beer or yeast, expired milk or soda, and fruit jelly. These ingredients are mixed and allowed to ferment for 3 to 5 days. Fermentation increases the smell, and a strong scent is what attracts wild boars from a distance. The bait is not immediately placed deep inside the trap. Instead, it is scattered outside first. Over several nights, the bait is slowly moved closer to the center of the enclosure. This gradual movement helps the animals feel comfortable. They begin to associate the structure with food rather than danger. If the process is rushed, suspicion may develop. Some operators bury the bait slightly underground. This increases his scent spread and encourages natural rooting behavior. When boars dig, they focus on the food source and stay longer in the trap area. The baiting phase can last between 3 and 7 days, depending on how the herd responds. During this time, the gate remains open. The animals must feel safe entering and exiting freely. Only when most of the group consistently walks deep inside the trap over several nights does the final step occur. Using camera systems, operators monitor the herd. When approximately 70 to 90% of the group is inside at once, the gate is triggered. If done correctly, this method captures the entire sounder. If done poorly, it may capture only a few and educate the rest. That education makes the next attempt more difficult. In the end, successful wild boar control depends on understanding behavior. It is not simply about force or aggression. It is about patience, structure, timing, and careful observation. Placement, baiting, and strategic timing work together as one system. When each step is followed carefully, success becomes more likely. When shortcuts are taken, failure becomes almost certain. Farmers also started studying animal movement patterns using aerial maps. This helped them predict where pigs would try to enter farmland. The battle between farmers and Java Porcos continues today. These animals keep adapting to human control methods. Farmers must also continue improving their strategies. The story shows that sometimes simple tools and smart thinking can be stronger than expensive technology. Humans and animals are always adapting to survive in changing environments. How did these animals grow into such a massive farming and environmental problem that costs billions of dollars each year? And why do humans keep struggling to stop them? Let's delve deeper. The growing wild boar problem and the struggle to control them. Wild boars have slowly become one of the most serious problems for farmers and landowners across many parts of the United States. These animals may look simple at first, but they cause very large damage over time.
Experts say the feral hog costs farmers billions of dollars in damages every year, and data shows they're continuing to spread in the Commonwealth.
Every year, wild boars are responsible for about $1.5 billion in damage across the country. That is a very large amount of money. This damage happens because wild boars like to search for food by digging in the ground. While searching for food, they destroy crops, break plant roots, and damage farmland soil structure. They also sometimes spread diseases to livestock and other animals living on farms. In states like Texas and Florida, the damage is especially serious. Farmers in Texas lose about $119 million every year because of wild boar activity. That is enough money to affect many small farming businesses. The problem is not only about money, it is also about land health and farming survival. In Georgia, wild boars also cause big trouble by destroying farmland and spreading diseases. Many farmers feel frustrated because they work very hard to grow food, only to see wild boars destroy their work in just one night. These animals also change their behavior when humans try to hunt them. Wild boars can become more active at night. This helps them avoid humans who are usually active during the day. They can also change feeding areas if they feel pressure from hunting. This ability to adapt makes them very successful at surviving in different environments. Many wildlife experts say that wild boars are one of the most intelligent invasive animals.
How intelligent are pigs? Pigs are intelligent creatures. How much brain function they can muster, to the point where they could even be considered smarter than most other creatures out there.
Because they quickly learn how to avoid danger. Another important reason wild boars spread so quickly is their strong reproduction ability. They do not have a fixed breeding season. This means they can reproduce any time of the year if food is available. Their pregnancy period is very predictable. It lasts about 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. This simple way of remembering pregnancy length helps wildlife experts study them. After giving birth, female wild boars can become ready to reproduce again in about 23 to 26 days. This fast reproduction cycle means populations can grow very quickly. This is one of the main reasons wild boar populations continue to grow across farmland and forests. Because of these problems, farmers have tried many control methods. Some tried electric fences, others tried steel traps.
K-Gen Traps, Louisiana local business, building these hog traps.
Hog trap, obviously, carry a walk-through door, so this door swings open and it allows for a lot better access. You don't have to crawl underneath your trap door.
But these methods often require constant maintenance. Electric fences can fail if wires break or if power goes out during storms. Even small gaps in fencing can allow wild boars to push through. Steel traps can also fail if they are triggered too early. Because of these failures, some farmers returned to using simple physical barriers like trenches. They started digging trenches around farmland boundaries. These trenches are usually about 1 to 1.5 meters deep. Wild boars usually try to push through obstacles instead of jumping over them. They are not natural jumpers. When they encounter trenches, they may fall in and struggle to climb out. This simple idea works because it uses the animal's natural weakness instead of fighting against its strength. Many farmers prefer trenches because they do not need electricity or constant monitoring. If wild boars are causing massive damage to farmland and growing rapidly in number, then what new strategies are farmers using to fight back? Let's find out. Technology, hunting strategies, and seasonal control methods. Modern wild boar control has become more advanced because farmers now use technology and behavior science together. One important tool is trail camera monitoring. These cameras help farmers watch wild boar movement without disturbing them. Cameras record group size, feeding behavior, and travel routes. This information helps farmers make better decisions about trap placement and trap size. If a large group of wild boars is seen on camera, farmers may build large corral traps with multiple panels. These traps are designed to capture entire family groups at once. Capturing the whole group is important, because if even one animal escapes, it can teach others to avoid traps. Trail cameras help farmers understand which animals are more cautious. Some wild boars refuse to enter traps easily, so farmers must adjust their strategies for these animals. Modern trapping systems have become even more advanced with remote-controlled technology. Farmers can now use internet-connected trapping devices. These systems allow farmers to monitor wild boars and close trapdoors remotely. Some traps can close in less than 1 second. This gives animals very little time to escape. These modern systems help achieve what experts call whole sounder removal. This means removing entire family groups at once, instead of catching only a few animals. Experts believe these modern traps can capture up to 90% of a group when used correctly. This is much more effective than older methods. Older traps often captured only part of the group. The remaining animals became smarter and avoided traps later. Technology has helped farmers stay one step ahead of wild boars. Wild boars are mostly nocturnal animals. They are more active at night because they do not have sweat glands. This means they cannot cool their bodies easily in hot daytime weather. During summer, wild boars move more at night when temperatures are cooler. Human hunting pressure has also pushed them to become more active at night. They have learned that darkness provides protection from humans. Because of this behavior, hunters now use thermal imaging technology. Thermal scopes detect heat instead of light. This allows hunters to see wild boars in complete darkness. Some thermal devices can detect animals from more than 400 yards away. However, most hunting happens at shorter distances of about 100 to 125 yards. Hunters often use fast-firing rifles so they can shoot moving animals quickly. Some hunters also use suppressors to reduce noise and avoid disturbing nearby homes. Wild boar control also depends heavily on seasonal patterns. Winter is usually the best time for trapping. During winter, food becomes harder to find. Wild boars depend on forest foods like acorns and nuts. When food becomes scarce, they return to bait sites more often. Farmers report that winter trapping can reduce wild boar populations by about 70 to 80% within 3 months. This often includes capturing young boars, pregnant females, and nursing mothers. This helps prevent future population growth. Spring is more difficult for control efforts. During spring, food becomes easier to find. Crops begin growing, and small animals like frogs and snakes become available. Because food is everywhere, wild boars become less interested in bait traps. During spring, farmers often switch to night hunting instead of trapping. Population reduction during spring is usually lower, often around 10 to 20%. In the end, wild boar control requires patience and smart planning. Farmers must use a combination of physical barriers, technology, hunting strategy, and seasonal knowledge. Wild boars continue to adapt to human control methods. This means humans must also keep improving their strategies. The battle between farmers and wild boars is not just about hunting. It is about understanding animal behavior and using knowledge to protect farmland and food supplies for the future. If wild boars are already causing problems across Texas and Florida, then how far does this problem really reach? Keep watching for more details. The Java Porco invasion, a silent war for farmland survival. Farmers in Brazil are facing a serious problem caused by Java porcos. These animals are a dangerous mix of European wild boars and domestic pigs. They have become one of the biggest threats to farmland in rural parts of Brazil. Many farmers describe these animals as moving like a natural disaster at night. When they move through farmland, they can destroy crops in a very short time. Large areas of sugarcane, corn, and other crops can be completely destroyed, in just one night of feeding and movement. Farmers lose months of hard work because of these animals. Because of this, many farming communities are looking for better ways to protect their land and food supplies. Java porcos are hybrid animals created when European wild boars bred with domestic pigs over many years. These animals are stronger than normal farm pigs and smarter than wild boars alone. Adult Java porcos can weigh about 300 pounds, which makes them very powerful animals. They move in large groups, sometimes ranging from 20 animals to more than 100 animals in one herd. When night comes, they leave forest areas and move into farmland looking for food. When they enter farms, they do not just eat crops. They destroy plants by pulling them out of the ground using their strong hooves. Their hooves are hard enough to break irrigation pipes and damage farming water systems. These animals are also very smart. Once they find a farm with good food, they keep returning to that same place. They remember locations and teach younger pigs the safest routes to food areas. This behavior makes population control harder because future generations learn from older animals. Java porcos are also dangerous because they are omnivores. This means they eat both plants and animals. They can attack chickens, ducks, and even young cows on farms. These animals also spread diseases. They can carry illnesses like leptospirosis, hepatitis E, and African swine fever. These diseases can spread through water, soil, and contact with farm animals. Farmers tried many modern control methods, but many of them failed. Some farmers built electric fences to stop the pigs from entering farmland. However, these fences often did not work well. Java porcos are smart enough to test fences before crossing them. Some pigs bite electrical wires to break the system. Others use sticks to check if electricity is flowing before moving forward. If the fence loses power during storms or equipment failure, the entire herd can enter farmland quickly. Electric fences also need constant maintenance. Even small broken wires can create open entry points for animals. Steel cage traps were also used, but they had problems. Java porcos usually move in family groups called sounders. If traps only catch a few animals, the rest of the group quickly learns to avoid that area. Some of the smartest pigs act as scouts. These animals test traps first. If they trigger a trap and survive, they help their family avoid that location in the future. Hunters also tried shooting the animals, but this was difficult. Wild pigs move quickly, especially at night and inside forests. Shooting many animals at once is very hard. Laws and environmental concerns also limit large-scale shooting. Wild pigs also reproduce faster than hunters can remove them from the land. Because of these failures, many farmers returned to a very old farming idea. They started digging trenches around farmland. These trenches are usually about 5 feet deep and 3 feet wide. The walls of the trench are kept straight and vertical. This design is important because pigs cannot easily climb out. Java porcos usually try to move through obstacles instead of jumping over them. When they fall into trenches, they have trouble escaping. This method works without electricity, machines, or complicated technology. It is simple but very effective. Farmers saw fast results after using trenches. Some farms reported about 90% less crop damage after installing trench systems. After a few months, some farms had no pig attacks at all. Because of this success, farmers started sharing trench building work. Communities began working together to protect large areas of farmland instead of only protecting single farms. However, trenches also created new problems. Building trenches is expensive. Construction can cost between $30,000 and $100,000 depending on farm size. Larger farms need longer trenches, which increases costs. Soil type also affects construction. Rocky soil requires expensive drilling machines. Soft soil may need concrete reinforcement to stop trench walls from collapsing. Rainy seasons also caused problems. During heavy rain, trenches can fill with water and mud. Standing water can attract mosquitoes, which increases disease risk in rural areas. Water flow can also change direction because of trenches. Some neighboring farms experienced flooding because trench systems changed natural water movement. Some farmers even faced legal problems with neighbors because water from their land flooded nearby farms. Trenches also created safety risks for people. Farm workers sometimes had accidents while driving tractors near trenches. Poor visibility during fog or night work made it easier for vehicles to fall into trenches. Equipment damage was also common. Emergency vehicles sometimes had difficulty entering farms during medical emergencies because trenches blocked roads. Farmers tried to solve these problems by adding warning signs, reflective markers, and small bridges across trenches. Over time, farmers started thinking of trenches as part of a bigger farming defense system. Instead of building trenches on only one farm, neighboring farms began working together. They shared excavation costs and created connected defense networks. If wild boars are spreading quickly, destroying farmland, and even becoming a source of income for some farmers, then how are humans learning to fight the disease risks? Let's learn more. Disease and turning wild boars. From threats into resources. Wild boars have become a serious global problem because of the diseases they carry, the money they can help farmers make, and the damage they cause to nature. One of the biggest dangers of wild boars is the diseases they spread. Scientists have found that wild boars can carry more than 30 types of parasites and sickness-causing germs. Some of the most dangerous diseases they carry include foot and mouth disease, brucellosis, and African swine fever.
African swine fever is a very serious infectious disease that affects domestic pigs and wild pigs. So it was first found in East Africa. It's present in a wildlife reservoir of warthogs.
African swine fever is especially dangerous because it can destroy pig farming businesses around the world. If this disease spreads into commercial farming systems, it could cause economic losses worth tens of billions of dollars. This would not only affect farm animals, but could also affect the global food supply system. These diseases can spread when wild boars move through soil, drink from water sources, or come into contact with farm animals that live nearby. Even though wild boars are dangerous to farming, some people have found ways to make money from them. Wild boar meat has become a valuable product in some farming industries. In the United States, captured wild boars are sent to meat processing facilities approved by the United States Department of Agriculture. These facilities follow strict safety and animal care rules. Before processing, veterinary workers carefully check each animal to make sure it is healthy. They test for diseases such as brucellosis and pseudorabies. This is important because people must be protected from eating contaminated meat. Processing wild boar meat is different from processing normal farm pig meat. Wild boars have leaner muscles and less fat. Their meat is usually tougher but has a stronger flavor that many customers like. Workers must handle each animal carefully because no two wild boars are exactly the same in size or weight. After cutting the meat, workers quickly freeze it in cold storage rooms. This helps stop natural chemical changes in the meat that can make it spoil. Because of this careful processing, wild boar meat can be sold at higher prices. In many markets, wild boar meat sells for about 30 to 50% more than regular pork meat. People use wild boar meat to make products like bacon, sausages, and specialty smoked meats. Some of these products are even exported to Europe, where there is strong demand for wild game meat. The wild boar situation shows a strange balance between danger and opportunity. On one hand, wild boars destroy crops, spread disease, and damage ecosystems. On the other hand, they have become a source of income for some farmers and meat companies. Many farmers now think of wild boars as both pests and resources. Instead of only trying to attack the animals, some farming communities capture them and sell them into meat supply systems. This helps reduce population numbers while also creating business opportunities. This change in thinking shows how humans often adapt when facing environmental problems. Experts believe that at least 70% of wild boar populations must be removed each year to prevent rapid population growth. If this does not happen, Even a small remaining population can quickly grow back to full size. For example, if only 30% of wild boars remain after hunting or trapping, that small group can reproduce and rebuild the population in the next breeding cycle. This makes long-term population control very difficult for farmers and wildlife managers. Wild boars also compete with native animals for food. Animals like deer, wild birds, and small forest animals lose food resources when wild boars invade their habitats. Because of this, wildlife experts sometimes call wild boars ecosystem disruptors. This means they change natural environments through their feeding behavior and movement patterns. The global wild boar problem also shows how humans and nature are connected. Wild boars first spread across the world because of human travel and farming history. The wild boar problem continues today because both humans and animals keep adapting. Farmers are learning new ways to control populations using technology, hunting methods, and meat processing systems. Some experts believe wild boars should be managed as resources instead of completely removed from nature. Others believe stronger population control is necessary to protect farms and ecosystems. Either way, wild boars remain a powerful example of how animals can adapt to human environments. In the end, the story of wild boars shows a constant battle between nature and human survival. These animals have become a global challenge because they destroy crops, spread diseases, and grow in number very quickly. At the same time, humans have learned to adapt by using simple farming methods, modern technology, and even turning wild boars into economic resources. The situation shows that problems in nature are not always solved by force or expensive tools. Sometimes simple ideas, smart planning, and cooperation between communities work better. The wild boar story is really about survival, balance, and how humans and nature keep adapting to each other over time. What do you think about the destruction made by wild boars? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us as we explored the world of wild boars, their intelligence, their rapid spread across the world, and the challenges they bring to farmers and ecosystems. If this deep dive helped you better understand how humans are fighting back, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video on your screen to discover more amazing stories. See you in the next story.